What's up, you guys? What's up, you guys? It's your girl Deja D, and we are here with another episode of Deja's Daily Dose official podcast. Let me tell you something. Like I said, I'm your host. I'm your girl Deja D, and let me tell you something. It is time to step out of your comfort zone. Okay, it's time that we're starting to take some risk. If you are new here, before we get into this episode, make sure you click the subscribe button. If you're listening in on Spotify, if you're tuning in on Apple Podcasts, make sure you are pressing the follow button. Make sure you join the community. We are excited to have you here. Let's chat in the comment section. And be sure that you're following Deja's Daily Dose and me, Deja D. Make sure you're following us on social media. Make sure you're following the TikTok. Make sure you're following the Instagrams, okay? Make sure you're just following us all around. Make sure you're subscribed, everything like that. Make sure you also click the link in the description box below to add your email to join the email list, okay? We'll talk a little bit more of that later on in the episode, but make sure you're doing all of those things so you could be connected. You could get updated when we drop new podcast episodes. You could get updated on merch. You get updated on all things mental health tips, all things Deja D, everything. So just make sure you are checking out everything in the description box, subscribing, following, and officially being a part of the community. Okay. Guys, I am super excited about today's topic. This episode, I wanted it to come out on Sunday. I know if it wasn't last week, it was the week before. I said I wanted my episodes to drop on Sundays, but yeah, I didn't write my podcast. Honestly, I didn't write it because I didn't know what to talk about. And I don't like to just write stuff like I don't want to talk about nothing I don't want to talk about. So it took me a little minute to figure out what I wanted to talk about. And then it was like, bam, this is your episode for the week. And I'm super excited to talk about it because I don't know. I felt like, y'all know I believe in God. I'm not pushing my religion on anybody, but I feel like God wanted me to send this signal to anybody out there, maybe the universe, whoever you believe in, wanted you to hear this. And I just wanted to share this with you all. It is your sign to take a risk. It is your sign to take a risk, take a pivot. Some people call it the rebrand. This is it. Lately, I've been feeling this shift in my life. I don't know if that's because my frontal lobe is developing. It's just going, I'm 24. Your frontal lobe is supposed to fully develop when you're 25. It's going like this. It's turning. I'm feeling this shift. I'm feeling a pivot. I'm feeling change. I'm feeling, a rebrand. I'm feeling it. And I feel like I want to bet on myself again. When I was 18 years old, my first step into adulthood, the first thing I did was shave my hair. As you obviously could see, if this is not your first time seeing me, I'm back completely buzz cut with the platinum blonde hair, okay? I started my blog, okay? I was posting whatever I want. I was super confident in what I was doing. I didn't care about no views or no aesthetic or what the algorithm would push, etc. I just was free. I just was posting my content, okay? I just stepped into my adulthood so free. And as life went on, as we're navigating life, as we're going through different shifts, as we're growing, as we're having more responsibilities and we're having trials and tribulations and triumphs and all these different things, and we're learning and we're doing some more, we pivot more. We just continue to pivot and we just always do this change. And then we get to a place where we sometimes get comfortable. And I think that I got comfortable. I find myself within the last few months of my life slowly pivoting. Pivoting isn't like pivot isn't like a sharp turn where we're just going from A to B. Me, pivot's like a little, it's like a swirl. Like we're taking our time. Like it takes a minute. We're not going to, it's like we're going around the corner like we're driving a car and we're like turning the wheel and then we hit the corner. We're not just going, the car doesn't just go like this and then immediately turn this way. It has to like turn, okay? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? It takes a minute for you to fully turn. We're not just going to take a sharp turn. So for the last few months, I find myself going like this, I'm turning and I'm about to really be like in my shit, okay? And yeah, I find myself pivoting. I find myself ready to take more risks. I find myself being more bold, becoming back Deja, whatever. And I am loving every single bit of it. I spoke earlier in the season, I think it was episode 3, whatever episode was called, How to Be Single and Happy. And I had some mini life updates in there, from coming out of a 2-year relationship to living alone for the first time to starting grad school. And I'm about to be done my first year of grad school, by the way. I'm kind of excited about it. I cannot believe it. But I'm like also about to hit 2 years at my first big girl job. Guys, it is time to start taking risk again. When I say risk, we aren't talking about middle fingers up, walking out the job, forget y'all, or not making plans and, just going to the tattoo shop and getting thug life tatted across the forehead. No. I'm just saying it's time to shake the room. It's time to shake the room. It's time to add a little spice, make life worth living, make some changes that you're no longer happy with. If you're in a place of like a plateau and you don't feel like you're living and you're just bored and you're not motivated and you just aren't happy with what's going on and you're just kind of like, all right, I just get up and I just do my little routine. It's time to make sure we are being fulfilled and feeling fulfilled with life again. So let's hop right into it. Let me tell you something. You only get one life. Do not spend it trying to make other people happy. So when we're talking about taking risks, when we're talking about pivoting, when we're talking about changing and growing and, doing a rebrand, whatever we're talking about, it makes you uncomfortable to change. It makes you uncomfortable to take a risk, but it also makes the people around you uncomfortable as well. Think about it. If you have a boo, friends, family, loved ones, coworkers, whatever, and they are used to seeing you, let's just say you come to the job every single day and you look the same. I got a black bob. I've been rocking it for 2 years. It's consistent. When I open the door, you know what to expect. You don't expect a shift and change. You don't expect me to look different. You're used to seeing me look like this, so it's not a big significant change. Okay, what about you working the same job? You have the same routine. You come home every single day at the same time. You leave out the same time every single day. You know you're going to be bringing in this amount of income. You ain't got to change up nothing. You do this, and this. Every Sunday you go to do this. Every Monday you go to do that. Every Tuesday you go and do this. It's no change. It's consistent. People know what to expect. You don't mess up their flow. You don't mess up their schedule. It's good. When you make any shift, it makes people uncomfortable. Yes, you are uncomfortable, but the people around you are uncomfortable as well. And you have to have enough confidence in what you are doing and what you're deciding to do and what you're deciding to change to be able to hear feedback from people and other people's opinions and still move forward with your change. You only get one life. So deciding to stay at the job that you're no longer passionate about, or live in the hometown that you've outgrown, or not try no new hobbies, or not switch up your look to please your lover because they like that style and they don't want you to change it up, will cost you your dream life. It is already hard enough to build that confidence up within yourself to change. It's already hard enough to come to that realization yourself. So do not let other people come into your life and push their own insecurities and fears on your plans. Now, some advice is good. I'm not saying, oh, I'm thinking about changing my job and I think I want to, leave my 6-figure job and start my business. And then, somebody that cares and loves about you might have, advice or feedback or whatever and say, hey, maybe instead of just dropping it, maybe you should start to do some of the back end work while you're still working, maybe do some of this paperwork. You take feedback. You don't want to be so big headed that you don't listen to other people around you, because you have to hope and pray that you have a circle of people around you that genuinely care about you and want to see your well-being. I'm not saying that, okay? I'm not saying forget the world, don't listen to nobody, you got it. No, community is important. What I am saying is don't let Johnny's fear Don't let Uncle Johnny, don't let your mama, don't let your grandmama, don't let your brother, don't let that person who's been at their corporate job forever, don't want to leave, stuck in their routine, make you do the same thing if that's not what you want to do. Don't make their fears, their lives, their insecurities, what they decide that they want to do, interfere with the plans that you have. Just because you got your job and your 401k and you want to stay at your corporate job and just stay there and do the same thing for 40 years, cool for you. But if my heart is telling me it's time for me to make a change, if my heart is telling me this is not what I want to do, if I'm not feeling fulfilled, if I'm not feeling, like life is worth living, I'm going to make this decision and I'm going to switch. I'm going to do a career change. I'm going to switch companies. I'm going to do something to shake up my life, because you only get one life, and do not spend it trying to please other people. The next thing I want to say is you deserve to feel alive. I've said this before in season 1, season 2, season 3, and I'm saying it again in season 4 because I think it is so important and such an important thing, especially when we're talking about just like me motivating and just life and just inspiring people. There are a lot of people that are functioning depressed people. So let me give you all a little information. Functional depression is a real thing. It is also known as high functioning depression. It is a form of depression where individuals experience significant depressive symptoms but are still able to maintain their daily functions such as work, school, or social relationships. Personally, me, I like to call it you're living like a robot. Okay? It is hard to to identify sometimes when you're highly functioning depressed, because you are still doing things. People sometimes be like, "Oh, I'm not depressed because I'm getting up, I'm going to the gym, I do my skincare, I keep my nails, my hair, and my feet done, and I go to work and I get up and I do what I need to do." Babes, that's your routine. You're a functioning robot. You're functioning. You're not laying on the couch, being a bum in a slum crying all day, but you don't need to be depressed to be doing that. I've seen some of my classmates in my class. I'm in grad school, so grad school is a little different than undergrad. Undergrad as well, but grad school is a little more different because in undergrad, most people come straight from, high school to college, just a more like bigger scale, like a number. So if there's older people in your school in undergrad, it's not really like typical. Or it's just not the range. Where in grad school, you do have younger people, but people are coming at all different stages of life. And I see people who are in their 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s, who are married and have children, who have the homes, who lived and had full-blown careers, lawyers, doctors, etc. And they come in and they say, I want to do something more fulfilling with my life. I want to change. You deserve to live a fulfilling life. You deserve to feel like alive. You deserve to feel alive. Okay? You don't want to be a functioning depressed person. Start building habits now in your early 20s or your 30s, or even if you're older watching this. You deserve to feel alive. Start building habits to where if you find yourself being stuck in a routine, stuck in a cycle, being a functioning depressed person, that you are not afraid to change. And it doesn't have to always be a super significant change. You deserve to be excited about life. You deserve to be truly happy and not content with the fact that you finished your to-do list. You deserve to dance with your hands in the air, to spin around, to skip and hop, to stretch and touch your toes and sit on the bench and feel the breeze and the sunlight on your skin. You deserve to truly taste food, to see colors, whatever it is that you are doing that has you moving like a robot, that has you functioning, being a functioning depressed person, change it. I was literally going throughout my closet the other day and I got rid of 2 full size of trash bags of clothes. Not because they didn't fit, not because they were old, not because of anything other than the fact that it was time to change. It was time to let them go. I cannot make space for my new life for the next chapter by holding on to things just because. If I can't wear or walk in these shoes, yes, they work. Yes, they look good, but it doesn't do anything for me anymore. I can't wear them. They're just sitting here taking and collecting dust in the closet. It's time to let them go. Yes, I could have repermed my hair and trimmed the ends and curled my pixie, but it didn't get me excited to look at myself in the mirror. I wanted to look at myself in the mirror and say, whoa, I got something bold going on. This fits this version of Deja. This is the season I'm in. I'm bald, I'm blonde, I'm excited. I'm excited. It's exciting. I'm excited to get dressed. I'm excited to get ready. I'm excited to see myself when I look in the mirror. I deserve to live. I deserve to have that change. I deserve to be bold, bright, and whatever I want to be. I needed to change some of my workouts because it didn't challenge me anymore. I'm going to the gym and I don't want to be there because I don't feel like I'm doing anything. I don't leave feeling like I accomplished anything. I feel like I'm just being and doing stuff, and I'm just content and happy that I check stuff off of the to-do list. I'm like, okay, I said I was going to the gym today, check. Even though I don't feel the burn, I'm not seeing no new results, I'm not doing anything different, I'm not challenging myself. I'm just doing things and operating in a to-do list and check, 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 check. Next, check, 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 check. Next day, check, check, check. Life will do that to you. Adulting will do that to you. You can become a highly functioning depressed person. Switch it up. And you know something? If you want to change and then change again in a new few months, and then change again in a new few months, and then change again, change until it feels right. You have the freedom to do so. I deserve to live, and you do too. And the last thing I want to say in regards to it being time to take risks, in regards to the art of pivoting, is to give yourself grace. It is your first time living. I spoke on the phone with my aunt the other day, and it really touched me because we don't talk often, but when we do, it's always so reassuring, and I value the dynamic that we have because we connect on a different level. We're both the oldest. We both are doing things that our previous generation didn't do, trying to make a shift, whatever. But one thing we spoke about a lot was giving yourself grace. I have been doing this a lot and having to remind myself this a lot lately, especially as the oldest daughter, first generation college student, someone who lives far away from home, and a Black woman in America, a human in general, is to give yourself grace. We put so much pressure on things, and it calls for us to hold on tight and never let go. You know, like the Bratz movies, if you know the Bratz Pixies. I mean, this is specific target audience I'm talking to. But when they were holding on tight, and it's like, hold on tight and never let go. Hold on tight, never let go. We hold on to things so tight because we want to stay comfortable and feel safe. We like routine because it keeps our nervous system calm. We want and need our nervous systems to be regulated. However, we do not want our dopamine levels to go into hibernation. I'm getting a little technical now. Y'all know she's got their degrees and they know everything, but I'm going to explain it to you. Let me provide you a little psychoeducation. Dopamines are neurotransmitters that are in your brain. They're chemical messages in the brain that play a vital role in just your bodily functions. It tells your brain when you are enjoying something. So it's like a reward. So if you're happy, your dopamine levels go up. If you're excited, they go up. They spike. You won, you passed the test, high dopamine level. You got promoted, high dopamine level. However, if you're scared to take risk or do pivot or change or challenge yourself, how are you going to spike excitement? How are you going to get a reward if you're not doing nothing to, step out the box and perceive, get one? How are you going to get a promotion if you don't take that risk and do that challenge and do that task? You're just plateauing. You're being comfortable. So if you're not doing anything to spike excitement, to spike joy because you want to stay comfortable, where does your dopamine go? What is bringing you joy? What is bringing you excitement? Where does your dopamine go? Don't let your dopamine levels go into hibernation. If you saw and watched The Incredibles, you saw how when Mr. Incredible and Mrs. Incredible got married and they had their kids, they stopped being superheroes. They stopped everything that excited them. They stopped doing the challenges. They stopped, taking risk. They stopped being themselves. They stopped having that excitement in their life. They just went the traditional route, got their jobs, went to work, came home, got stuck in this routine of never changing. Their dopamine levels went into hibernation. And to me, I say they became zombies. They turned into highly functioning robots. They became robots, okay? He had a dual life. It was stable. It was safe. He had the roof over his head, food on the table. But as soon as he took a risk, bam, he got his spark back. When he became a superhero again, when he took that risk, when he said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to be a superhero again versus just living this comfortable life. I'm not happy. I'm just doing it because it's safe. It's a routine. I'm good at my routine. I get up, I go to work, take care of my family, blah, 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 blah. But as soon as he took that risk and said, you know what, I need to do this for myself. Boom, got his spark back. Life be lifing. So give yourself the grace to know, hey, it's okay if I turn into a robot. I might have not recognized it. I might be a highly functioning depressed person, but that is why you're subscribed to today's Daily Dose podcast. Let me tell you something. So I can pop up on your feed and give you that motivation and send you that sign you've been waiting on and say, hey, it's time to take that risk. Hey, I see you. You're comfortable. You know what you want to do. You know that risk you want to take, whether it's cutting your hair, growing your hair, dyeing your hair, getting a new job, applying for a new job, starting that new program, moving away, starting a social life, picking up a new hobby, going on Zillow looking for a new place, whatever it is. This is your sign. It's time to take that risk. It's time to do the rebrand. It's time to do the pivot. It's time to start turning the car. We're not going from A to B real quick. It doesn't work like that. But it's time for you to start it. Just start the little turns. Okay? We're doing a pivot. Okay? We're pivoting. And you know what? If you make this pivot, it's not the end of the world. You could pivot again. And in a few more years or a few more months, you might want to pivot again. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you are liking. Make sure you are following Deja's Daily Dose on all social media platforms. Make sure you're joining the email list so you can get notified for everything. Let me tell you something. You get one life. Take the risk and learn the art of the pivot. I love you guys so much. I'll see you all in 2 weeks for our next episode. And